Hey, hey, hey. As we know, life is full of surprises, both good and bad, and the day-to-day journey is full of unforeseen obstacles, and sometimes it's hard to see our way through. Beyond the norm and mundane or where unscripted dreams live, join us for thought-provoking discussions and interviews to help us navigate through the fog and create our own path. We are the Unscripted Dream Podcast, operating outside the margins to motivate and inspire our audience. So, people, good people, today our episode, the topic is Step It Up, quote unquote, boss up. Uh, let's give you a quick rundown what Step It Up is or Boss Up is. Ideally, it's an idiom. That's what it is. It's an idiom.
What's that?
Okay.
What's that?
Idiom. So it's like giving. It's like a reference to something. So it
Okay.
symbolizes increase. It symbolizes improvement. It symbolizes to hasten something, like to tweak something, make something better than what it originally was. That's what we mean by step it up and boss up. Like you would have proper conversation with certain people where they think you're lacking. They say, you better step it up. You better toughen up. Better smarten up. You get the point. So the latest one is we got to step it up for people that aren't familiar with boss up, but they're the same thing. Boss up is
Yeah.
just the trendier
Yeah.
catchphrase that's in right now. So moving forward to bossing up and us already explaining what it means or step it up. How can we actually make this a lifestyle or habit? You want to start that off, Marcus?
Yeah. It's really just like do better. All right. So I really think about, I was at work recently. Just kind of one of the things we do is just kind of asking, we would kind of go around and they would always kind of just ask us, what's like the 1 degree of difference that you made this week? And it would, at first, when I first started doing this, I was like, I feel like I'm doing quite a bit already, but really, it's like a mindset, really like a mindset thing and understanding that you have a potential. I mean, it's really, as far as human capacity, there's infinite ways in which we can improve ourselves. You're never like, no one's ever able to optimize themselves like 100%. It's just not possible because there's too many things to do in this world for you to be exceptional in all facets of life. Right. But we all have our pockets of things that we kind of, we focus on that are of interest to us. And if you feel like, I guess if you feel like you're lacking in these areas or you're not getting the results that you thought you were going to get, then it's important to start to try to change some things as far as your lifestyle, some of just your habits, and really like try to make it. I'm sorry to use the word habit twice, but like you want to make it a habitual thing. And part of that is just having discipline too. But it's part of a commitment. Some of this stuff is like intangibles too, which makes it kind of tricky. Because some of it's like you either have it or you don't things too. So, but I really think that when you're wanting to do better, you're trying to like figure out, you know, "Well, I need to do better." Well, how do you go about doing it? Well, you just have to try. You just have to try to do better. So it's one of those things I think about, like if you're at the gym and you want to walk out after 15 minutes, stay for 20, but actually do something. That's doing better. That's doing better. Staying for 5 extra minutes, doing one more rep, one more set, one more lap, one more crunch. Don't care about the weights. Don't matter. Just do one more. That's how you build a habit. But Joe, what are your thoughts?
I think that's very fitting for how I developed that mindset over time. If I didn't really like challenge myself from a physical standpoint, as far as physical conditioning, I would have never understood how important it is with everything else throughout life. Because when you understand physical conditioning and how your body works as far as you training and building up to something, like right now, I could say I could bench 300 pounds right now. Easy. It's nothing to me. And the only reason why it's nothing or I'm not flaunting or anything like that, that's not what, don't take it that way.
I'm taking it.
Cause it took a while, right?
True. That's true.
So I'll give you an example. I stopped weightlifting during COVID for very obvious reasons, right? Obvious reasons. Stop going to the gym and benching weight. Now I'm in a position where I'm back on it. And that was probably about a year and probably like a year and 3 months. And I took a whole two, just over a little bit over a 2 year hiatus from bench pressing. That's a long time. You done lost a lot of muscle mass in that amount of time. So when I actually started back up, I didn't out the gate just throw up 300 pounds again like that. Like, this is something that you have to do on a consistent basis. For example, I did it 3 times a week and nothing more because I wanted my muscles to heal properly and actually capture what's really going on with your body. Because when you stress your body out too much, you're not really going to gain much as far as being able to throw up weight like that. So 3 months or 3 days a week. That was my whole regimen. Gradually, I would go up probably about 5 pounds every other week, just throwing it on there. Five more, five more. When I started out at 135. So I would go up gradually and eventually got to a point where I could throw on more weight because my body's conditioned to that weight. So that's what I mean. Like, it takes a while to build up to that. So when you see all these people, or especially bodybuilders, and the way their body is, it probably taken them multiple years to get their body the way it is. Don't think it's just something that happens overnight and it's just a simple diet. No, that takes years of training for your body to be sculpted like that. But like, that's one of the quick examples I can give you as far as learning how to discipline yourself. And there's so much you can learn in that as far as learning how to step it up, because that would be your mentality of how you tackle everything else. I use that same mentality of teaching me how to code for my day job, my actual career. I did the same methods. Bit by bit, I would learn how to different functions, learning what the functions do. So, for an example, I would learn how to, I don't know, there's so many I can think of. I'm trying to think of one that's easy for people to actually comprehend. Let's see here. Um, there's a function as far as, like, if you're thinking of SQL or SQL, there's something called a like. So if you're looking for a specific thing you're trying to find in the database and you're trying to get results on, you can type in that function like, but you would add in parentheses or quotations or whatever, depending on what pro which style program of SQL you're doing. You would enter like whatever you're looking for. So you do like, and then in quotations, maybe you're looking for a specific sneaker or shoe. So say you're looking for Jordans, right? So there's a column with Jordan on there. So you would want to, categorize on that so you can actually get all your results on Jordan. So I didn't want to go down a rabbit hole on coding. So I think that's the most simplest one I could probably use. But
You went you went there. You went to little G because I don't know what's going on right now, but,
yeah,
sound like control a different way, kind of, but
can you
thanks
say
for
that one
the
more time? Sounds like
control F. If you hit control F, it's a search function. Windows, this is for regular people like me, alright? So,
or you could do that in an Excel document, but how else do you get an
yeah,
Excel document? You probably query it and use SQL to create an Excel document full of data, and then you can use that F key, like you said, to find whatever you're looking for. You
yeah,
could do it.
thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate everyone who takes time to listen to these ramblings. But I think we can move on. I think it's safe to move on. So
Yes.
one of the so one of the things when we're thinking about just by doing a little bit more, right? We're not getting the results that we're looking for. You want to ask yourself, are you doing enough? Like, is the actions that you're taking, you're really taking a look at that and just are the actions that you're taking actually resulting in anything? And is the effort that you're putting forth really enough? It's like, if you do one push up, take somebody who does one push up and a person who does 100 push ups, the results for these two individuals is going to be significantly different because there's a lot more effort exerted to do one versus 100. And you might think, and I mean, there's been times in my career where I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm doing a lot. I'm killing it. Like I'm saying, anybody doing what I'm doing. So I'm tired all the time, put a lot of effort in, you know, most times people don't see me, whatever. But then I look at, well, what's the result? like, what's the result? And I was listening to this video or something. It was Jay Z. I think it was Jay Z. And he said, everybody wants like the end result, but not the process. Um, and I really think that it's like sometimes you're looking at, well, yeah, you're doing all of this, but you're wanting this result. But that process, like part of that process is like kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, is that like you're having to improve and iterate on that. It's one thing to do the same, like, if you like work out and you do the same thing, like it's like the law of diminishing returns, essentially. Like you don't get the same gains after you do the same thing repeatedly. Like there's a reason why it's recommended to like work different muscle groups and do different exercises and things like that. Like there's a reason for that. But another thing, just on top of that, is that it's like time. Like I don't think that we're think that time should be evaluated. Maybe taking a little bit a different look at it is that you might think that, oh, was this another thing I've heard recently? Like if you're working 8 hours, like you're working just to survive, and anything over eight is like you're working to succeed. And that things won't always fit in a box. There's times we sit down and look at this, like there's work and there's things in front of us, things on our plate. I'm like, I know this is gonna take 4 hours. And then I sit down and I'm like, this is gonna take 6 hours. Right. And then you might start cutting corners or you might give up or something like that. But that's not doing enough. You're doing a lot, but you're not doing enough to actually hit the that that level of success that you're looking for. But Joe, I kind of just want to toss it over to you.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder, actually. That brings me back to what you mentioned earlier, where you were saying that you are a believer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a believer that to be a certain type of person, as far as like someone that's big on execution, is something you're born with. It's like a state of mind, as far as when it comes to step it up, boss it up. Like that just comes natural to someone that executes, someone that's actionable. Uh, so I guess if you think that it's born with it, and you're giving people these examples, as far as so am I, giving people examples of how to execute or how to figure it out. I guess we got to hit it where we probably should, where we're not losing people. So I guess my question to you, Marcus, is as far as that, like how do people experience breakthrough? Like, how do you work through that? Because I feel like all it takes is that one time that you went through like something that's really hard or something you become really passionate about because you put so much effort into. Once you get that breakthrough, most people never look back. They change forever. So, like, can you give us maybe an example or an idea of like how to channel or how to figure out like how to make position through that breakthrough?
Try. It's really that simple. I didn't know I could climb a rock wall until I tried to climb a rock wall. I didn't know I could lead a group of people until I was in a position, until I worked enough to put myself in a position where I was actually like a supervisor, actually like led people in a particular capacity. So when I say that it's intangible, you might have the ability, if you're listening to this, you just never had the opportunity to tap into it. So it's not saying if you haven't increased the level, the amount of like effort and work that you're doing, the level of productivity, doesn't mean that you don't have it in you. You just might have never pushed yourself far enough to even see what you're capable of. It's like when I don't know, you do all that like weird, there have been these like work events and whatever weird stuff people have when these things that you do, like you do something with this group of people, you do like a trust fall or something, or like maybe you've been working out or doing some sort of workout, and then out of nowhere, it just gets easier. Or you look for weights like Joe said. I remember the first time I started pushing heavy weight, and then somebody was like, that's pretty impressive what you do. You don't understand it. Like you don't understand what you're doing until somebody else commentates on what you're doing. Or it's like when you learn how to ride a bike for the first time. Like when you're like before you rode the bike, you didn't know. Like you fell a lot. You fell a lot. Maybe the training wheels like you still fell. I don't know. Anybody who's rode a bike learned and just didn't fall, right? So it's like you didn't like you wouldn't have known that you could ride the bike unless you tried. You had to try to know, to discover. And I think that's the key. It's just making the effort to be more than what you are.
So in other words, being put in a position where you can grow. So maybe put in not necessarily a fight or flight situation, which that is how some people learn and prosper, of course,
Yeah.
but more so having the right people around you or just walking into the right situation where there's a lot expected of you as far as expectations. And a lot of times we don't know that we're in that situation. Like, say you walk into a management role and you have no idea like what you're getting yourself into until you're actually in the middle of it. And you're like, damn, like, I can't believe I did all of this. Like, I'm pretty much manning 4 or 5 positions right now because we're
Yeah.
understaffed. Like, I
Killing it.
just, yeah, killing it. Like, sometimes it really does take that to bring out that, what you call beast mode out. And that's really what you need as far as learning how to step it up and boss it up. You need something that's really going to push you past your limits to the point where now you can't go back to what you used to know. You got to move forward and see how far you can really go. This is the type of conversation that I would love to have, or I wouldn't even consider this high level conversation. This is something that should be expected. If you want to prosper and you want to be great, you want to get anything you want out of your life as far as you want things to come to you rather than you, however you look at it, right? I feel like you really have to push yourself beyond your limits, not necessarily every day, not every second, not every moment. Like, there is a such thing called reaching and doing too much and being stretched too thin. But within reason, I feel like it's very important for you to actually channel your energy towards something and stick with it. That's what made me what I am to this day. I found something and I stuck with it until I mastered it. And then I'm like, okay, I can move on to the next thing. That's the type of movement you have to have. You got to have patience. If you don't have patience, it's not going to work. Imagine seeing how many people you've seen go into the workforce. And don't get me wrong, they're probably very talented, having great skill sets, whatever, very brilliant, whatever skills, whatever. And once they get in there, man, they get eaten alive because they stress themselves way too thin. It happens all the time, man, where people eventually break down. So, my advice to you is find something that you like, find something you're already doing. And if you're halfway decent at it, matter of fact, even if you're mediocre at it, stick with it. There's been a lot of greatness that came out of mediocre stuff. I'm living proof of that.
You know, that's a whole nother discussion for another time. I think for you to even say that and leave people like that. But just key takeaways for me, right? When you're thinking
Yeah,
about just improving what you're doing and you want to do more. So one of the things that I do, this will be, I'm close on this, but every day, ask myself, I don't think time is a luxury like I used to actually think. Like these are some very some interesting times we're in right now. And these past 3 years have been pretty crazy. So when I ask myself every day, that's why I don't take days off. I don't care what other people tell me when they say you need to take time off. I'm not listening to you. Don't tell me if I die, I die. I shot the shot, and that is what it is. All right. But every day I ask myself, this is what I ask myself. I said, if you got fired today, would I be good? Right now, we're like, yeah, be good for a few months. 3 months, we'll be okay. Yeah, I'll be all right. 6 months, okay. All right. 1 year, no, absolutely not. If I didn't get any income, I'll probably be in a bad situation. If I didn't do anything in my business to like really like get things going, like I'll be in a difficult spot, right? And then 2 years I'll be good. So clearly, if I'm not good at 1 year, I'm not good for two to just be without income. So until I hit that 1 year mark, I don't care about the 6 months. I know I'll be okay. But it's when you get to that 1 month, I mean, 1 year, it's like, well, all right, maybe take a little time off and do something like that. But the way the world seems to work and the way things like will just kind of happen at random, these very strange things that are happening. Like if you're not in a position to where you can like provide for yourself, provide for people that you care about if needed, and like you're really able to be like self-sufficient, if in these worst case scenarios, they're like, no, I'm not taking any days off until I get there. I'm gonna keep working until I get to that point. And because of that, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna have as good time as other people are having. But if you lose your job today, and you don't have any money, you don't have any reserves, you don't have any options. You had a great time last night, but now the next few months of your life, maybe a year, are going to be very rough because you have to dig yourself out of this hole. You might go so low that you can't return. So just want to say that, maybe approach some of these things with a sense of urgency because I can control the amount of effort that I put in, but I can't control a lot of these like worldly things that happened. Just saying, just a few weeks ago, people thought they had money in the bank. It was gone. It's gone. People had jobs a couple months ago. Job gone. House gone. Car gone. Spouse maybe gone.
More than
you know.
likely gone.
So just just when you ask yourself, are you doing enough? You know, like I said, just more reps. Maybe you work on something a few minutes later, like 30 minutes longer, an hour longer. Maybe on your day off, you work for half of that day working on your own stuff. But it's it's really it's not a comfortable thing. Like hard work is hard work. There's no easy way around it. But I'll close on that.
Well, as Future said, ain't no way around it. I love that song, but seriously, check it out. There ain't no way around it. Like, you got to get through it. There's no other way around it. And you only fooling yourself when you cutting corners. You only lying to yourself. So when you actually meet things head on and tackle them head on, listen to our previous work. We've talked about this numerous times. Like, ain't no better satisfaction or better feeling than tackling things head on, meeting them where they are. So with that being said, I hope you continue to step it up, boss it up wherever there's room for improvement. Take care. Be safe.
Yep, so